Hi guys, so for my library, I just picked the 4 books and so here they are. And so in the contemporary realistic fiction section, my favorite is actually Junie B. Jones, and she's been my favorite ever since I was in about the 1st grade. That's when I started reading those ones, and this one is Cheater Pants, so this is all about knowing if it's okay to cheat or what are the actual aspects of cheating. Like, oh, what if I didn't know the answer and I asked her if I can have the answer? Is that still cheating? So I thought this one was a really good book, so students do know the difference between cheating and not cheating, and it can be made as a lesson. So for diverse populations, I would say my favorite is Whitewater, and I would say that because it's about segregation and it's about basically the little boy in the picture realizing that people who are white actually do have it better than people who are not, and he's determined to figure out why. He's determined to figure out why his water that he drinks out of from the fountain is not as good as the water from, the whites. So he basically is determined to find out what that is, and I think this is a good book to read in the classroom as well because you are able to teach children the history behind, basically the history of segregation and how it impacted others and how it was a really hard time, especially for people who are African American. For fantasy, I would say my favorite book is The Wish Tree, and this is basically the story of a little boy. I believe his name was Charles. He kept saying he wanted to go find the wish tree. He asked his siblings if they wanted to go and help him, and they both said there's no such thing. He had hope. He found the wish tree, and so I thought this was a good book. I would say it's more so just for the holidays. I wouldn't say it's something like necessary to read to the class, but for holiday purposes, I would say yes. For graphic novels, my favorite is El Depo. It is a graphic novel for younger kids for the grades, I think 3 to 5. And it is about a young girl. I forgot what she was diagnosed with, but it made her lose her hearing. And so she has this box that helps her hear, and she's carried around school. She does get teased, and she does realize who her true friends are. Also, she finds herself throughout high school. And so I think this is a really good book to teach in a classroom because it does teach diversity, and it also teaches just to be more aware of people who do have special needs or things like that, and to just not be like, what's that word? To kind of just not be mean to, people who are different, to just accept others for who they are, I would say. So I thought this was a good book. To be honest, I know she said to list your least favorite. I truly don't have a least favorite. There is, except for one, which I'll get to, but I really liked all of the books. For historical fiction, I would have to say I really do love The Magic Tree House, but my favorite has to be The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. It is a really sad book. However, it does teach about the Holocaust, and it kind of just shows how children aren't really understanding why, especially the little boy, who is the main character in the book, he's not understanding why on the other side of the gate or the fence they're treated very poorly and differently, and where he's at, he's not treated that way, and he's trying to grasp like what is really going on. So I do feel like that is a really good book. I actually reread this book, but the first time I ever read it, I was in the 6th grade, and I just think it's one that should be read. For informational biography, I would say that I don't know, I just feel like these ones are just like for younger kids, so I did like all of them. I feel like they are all good informational books, and they do teach children, you know, biography about them. They're important people. Martin Luther King, Albert Einstein, and Christopher Columbus. They are important people that we do learn throughout history, so this is a good transitional book for them. The A is for America book is for students just learning different historical figures that start with an A, so that's one too. Or it's more so the alphabet, but yeah. And then the poetry, I have to say The Giving Tree is my favorite one. The very first time I actually ever read this book, I was actually at my aunt's house. I didn't even read it at school yet. I was in kindergarten, and I have this book at my house. This is just one of the favorite ones. I now read it to my niece, so I would say this one has to be it. It's just about giving and how the tree just has a love for the young boy and how she's always giving and never asking for anything in return. I think it's a really good lesson for children to know and learn. So for science fiction, my least favorite book was actually Star Wars. I really did not like it. I felt like it was really slow. I just really was not interested in it. It's really not even like too long of a book, and to be honest, I didn't even finish it. I really just did not like it. So I would say that was my least favorite book. For traditional literature, my favorite book is The True Story of the Three Little Pigs, and it's just a fun little book. It's a spin-off of The Three Little Pigs. I'm sure everyone's read it. It's funny. It's how the wolf is trying to say he's really, you know, it's his side of the story. He really shouldn't be in trouble for what he did, and he's trying to justify it when really there is no way he can justify what he did, considering he killed 2 of the pigs and ate them. So yeah, so this is my virtual library. Books that I would use in the classroom, I would say, is The True Story of Three Little Pigs, The Ugly Duckling for sure. I think the other 2, I mean, they would be good, Little Red Riding Hood and Jack and the Beanstalk, but I feel like it's more of a fun read rather than, I guess, more so of a lesson. I like the other 2 more. For science fiction, I would say The Magic School Bus I would do for a lesson because it is a book that you really do learn from. And for a fun book, I actually would choose Galaxy Zack. Hello Nebulon. I would choose that one too. It is fun. It's a book about when you move from, basically he moved from Earth to Nebulon. So it's like a new place, new environment, and he's scared. So it is a book about, you know, moving, having a new environment, and just meeting new people and trying not to be as scared and realizing it really isn't that scary. So I would use that book as well. Of course, I would use a Giving Tree in my classroom. I would also like to use A Light in the Attic. It is a fun little poetry book, all different characters in each poem. So I do like that one. Informational biography, I think all of them are really good to use in the classroom. I believe it's like 4th or 5th grade. They do biographies on famous people. They present it. I've done it. I would use these books to, you know, use for a project like that. I don't know if I really would do a project like that. I probably would do something a little different, but yeah. For historical fiction, I feel like The Boy in the Striped Pajamas is really good, and also Revolutionary War from The Magic Tree House would be really good. It teaches about history, and it's one that I feel students would really remember. So I think that one would be really good to use in the classroom, and probably read it as a class, either chapter by chapter, or having them go home and read a chapter and talking about it and having an assignment for it. I know it's said to be 2 minutes, but everything to put in this video, I think, really needs more than 2 minutes. So sorry about that. Aldefo, of course, I would use that in the classroom. I think that is probably the main one out of the 4 that I for sure will use, because it teaches about diversity and just accepting people for who they are, even if they are different, which is okay. Paperboy and the Wish Tree, I think I would use as well. Paperboy is about him and his dog and the bond that they have, so that one would be really good. And for diverse populations, Whitewater and Ties That Bind, Ties That Break is a really good book. So, of course, they would just be read in class or, you know, having an assignment with it, I think. And last but not least, contemporary realistic fiction, I would use Junie B. Jones, and I actually really liked Velma Gratch and the way Cool Butterfly, it's a girl who figures out kind of who she is. She finds her way, and she's really shy, and she does that through science. So I think that's a really good book to teach students that, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a girl or boy, like you can be good at science, math, anything. It truly doesn't matter. Just do your best in anything. So I feel like that would be a really good book. And yeah, so that's my virtual library. Sorry for the long video. Yeah.